Do you think you're at a point where you are maybe that desperate, for example, where you see all of the signs telling you that things are going to go wrong? I mean, if you're invited for something in a stadium and you get there and you see 60,000 people, you should know that things that might most likely go wrong. Are you at a stage now where you're probably that desperate?
Yeah, okay. I would say kind of.
Yeah.
I'll say kind of because, okay, when you go to you go to the venue and you see about 60,000 people, okay, first of all, you start feeling inferior. Okay, you're like, okay, I don't know anybody here.
Yeah.
Okay, is this going to be
I have
free
to
and
fight
fair?
for myself.
I need to fight for myself. A lot of things you have to fight back in your mind. You understand? Okay. Apart from you passing the interview, they'll tell you there's another interview. Then you hear that you have to pay somebody for you to be able to. A lot of things that keeps running through your mind, and you're like, I don't think this can work.
Yeah, I asked that because I was just trying to get into the heads of those who went there.
Okay.
I understand how critical, of course, the employment issue in Nigeria is, but I just feel like if you see those kind of signs, most times you will definitely know there's a problem. But for people to still go, it means the situation is really bad.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're desperate.
Exactly. It shows that they are indeed desperate. It shows frustration indeed, that they've been frustrated. Apart from the fact that the population, the stadium was filled to the brim, we need to consider at the point of where they were sharing this, maybe the form, and they're just struggling for it. That also passes a message that indeed they are qualified. They know themselves. They know themselves that if indeed you feel inferior, definitely you won't go. You just stop at the gate. But you realize that most of our youths are employable. If they are not employable, they won't go inside there. They won't even fight for the form. But because they know that if I get this form, definitely I'm worthy to be employed. And that is one of the reasons why you have this stampede and every other thing there, because they're employable.
I like the fact that you brought up employability there. It's something we've talked about a lot on the show as well. And most times people tend to talk about it when they're talking about Nigerian graduates, graduates of Nigerian universities.
Okay.
Do you think it's an issue you're facing? Do you think, for example, that you're qualified in your field?
Yeah, sure. I am qualified in my field. Okay. I have a master's degree in the same field, and okay, like I said.
All from Nigeria?
Yeah, Nigeria,
yes.
University of Ibadan.
Okay.
Okay, like I said, I do my own thing, and I have people I work for. Okay, and most of the time, it's not like I go out to source for a job. It is because of the kind of jobs I get. They are based on referrals. Okay, people are like, okay, he has done this before. He should be able to do this. They call you up and they're like, okay, can you do this? But still, like I said, there are challenges here and there. You have power to fight. You have internet to fight, and a lot of things like that.
Yeah. But going through school now, how was it going through your classes, for example? Besides maybe some of the things you've learned on your own over time, through experience and all of that. Talking about employability now, did schooling in Nigeria and in your school actually help you?
Kind of. It did help. At least it laid the foundation. The truth is that the school can't really give you everything.
Very true, yeah.
The school can't give you everything. Even when you go to Harvard, you have your parts to play. Okay, there's this Chinese proverb that says you can force a horse to the river, but you can't force it to drink water. You understand? So you have your own parts to play. And that is where passion comes in. When, for example, you're studying a course and, okay, the school lays down the foundation and the passion is not there. It's not it, you understand? Because after school, over half of my classmates said they were not going to have anything to do with computer science again. You understand? And so it has to do with you.
Yeah. You studied in Nigeria as well. Have you ever come across issues of maybe people debating your employability while looking for a job?
Not really, but I want to state categorically that I'm employable. If I could, as a maths teacher, able to raise the class average of the class from 43% to 65%, I believe anywhere, as far as a teacher, I'm employable. Regardless of how the school I finished from, or at least I've put into practical. And indeed, if the school which I did it for still called for my service, at any time they still want my service. And that shows that indeed many of the youths, graduates, are employable.
I hear that you say that, but are you the exception? Or are majority of Nigerian graduates the way you are? Or are you the exception? Because this issue of employability keeps coming up. Nigerian graduates are not well trained. So where is it coming from if you guys are saying this?
Okay. Let me just try to deviate a bit. Let's go back to the rebase, the GDP. If we check it out, that now Nigeria is number one as far as the economy Africa is concerned.
Yes.
And if we check factors of production, after we have land, perhaps I think the most important factor of production is labor.
Yeah.
And if Nigeria could be the number one in Africa, definitely, did Nigeria make use of the of youth of South Africa? No. Did they make use of youth of Morocco or Egypt? No. But they made use of the youth and graduates of our country. Which are the graduates? So I believe the graduates are employable as far as we could at least become the number one in Africa for now. I think that ordinary is a yardstick to measure the employability of graduates.
So when you apply to this job, what are some of the things you hear? I know most times you see adverts for jobs, and some of the first things you see is 5 years work experience required, things like that. But what are some of the things the employers tell you that make them not give you these jobs?
Okay, sometimes you don't even get the feedback. Okay, sometimes you hear, okay, someone calls you and tells you that you need to pay some money for you to get inside. We hear a lot of things like that. And sometimes they tell you they're going to get back to you and they just don't get back to you. So those are the things we hear most of the time. Okay, I think that's it basically.
Yeah. Is it the same with you?
Yeah, for two places I've submitted my CV. I've had a horrible experience, actually. I heard of the last one I went to, I was asked to pay 10,500 naira. For just to be trained or to do, but I bet you, they have nothing to offer, really.
So who offers, who tells you to pay this? Is it the employer or some middleman?
The middleman, the agent. The agent asked me to pay 10,500 naira. Then after the payment of the 10,500 naira, then they were going to call me back. And on that same day, just like a seminar, they called everybody, just as if they are ready to give us the job. And we are just being spoken, how they made money, how they did this and they done one or two things, and how they become millionaire. And if we really want to join them, we should just pay 10,500 naira. In fact, on that day, I was engrossed totally because I forgot, I was carried away entirely. And I saw many people on that day, about 5 people, ready, stood up and went to pay. But I realized that later when I got home, I realized that everything they did on that day, there was nothing to show for. And I believe many people in my shoes also are facing such things.
So basically you're saying that there are agencies set up now to basically just scam unemployed people?
Yeah, they do. They scam.
Is it rampant now or is it?
Yeah, sure,
very,
it is.
very rampant.
It is, and they are.
So how does it work?
They put out
like employment seminars or?
Yeah, no, not seminars actually. They put out the adverts and they tell you, okay, they are recruiting.
Okay.
And so you go there to write a test. Okay, when you write the test, apart from, okay, before you write the test, sometimes you pay to write the test. Then after writing the test, they call you back and they start negotiating. Okay, the company we are recruiting for wants to pay 100,000. Okay, and we are going to get 50,000 for the first 1 year or for the first 2 years. Then you get the remaining 50,000.
Interesting.
You understand? And okay, before you can even get that offer, they might tell you, okay, for you to show that you're interested, okay, you have to pay another 50,000 naira upfront to be sure you're so that they can know that you're interested. You hear a lot of things like that, and you just.
Do you know anyone who's ever gotten a job off of this sort of arrangements, or?
Yeah, sure, I do. I know people.
Okay, so it works for some people.
Yeah, it works for some people.
Or is it minority? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sure.
Definitely.
It works for people. I won't say minority. I think a lot of people, because I know people that have been employed and before they get the job, people pay as much as 500,000 naira. People pay that much.
Yeah.
I know people.
To get jobs.
Yep.
Wow. Well, looking forward now, what do you think is the way forward for all of this now? I mean, what are some of the things we should start doing as a nation, I mean, to tackle this unemployment issue?
To me, I want to advise the government to visit industrialization, because I believe the suggestion of skill acquisition actually is going to do little. It's going to do little, but indeed, for we to have massive employment, we just have to, the government has to have there has to be a revolution. Just like then of those days of the Great Britain, it
was an industrial revolution.
It was an industrial revolution that brought in several jobs. That it got to an extent that both the men and the women, they even needed more people, and what they went for was to get child. That was during the child labor period. So I believe industrialization really helped. But before the industrialization, would power first, because I believe that is one thing that was really supported.
Well, thank you very much, Samuel. Thank you very much, Olawale. It's been very eye-opening, and thank you for your honesty and openness. Hopefully, things will work out for you in the very short future.
Thank you very much.
We're supposed to have Sheishi on the show today. I apologize for her not being here. We'll get her on at some other time. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, so you can join the conversation on Twitter at YNigerTV is the handle. The hashtag is Rubbing Minds. You can also visit the website yniger.com/TV. Remember, you've never seen young people talk like this before. I'll see you next week.